opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.
Well, what's happening, friends, out there in the land of the internet and the parcel that you're definitely not talking about? I know, the dark web, right? Probably not. I hope you're not scavenging the dark web. Well, it is a glorious, glorious, glorious day here at the Keeping It Green farm. You know, it's bright outside. The sun is super glorious bright. We got a nice breeze, and I met with a realtor. Things go as planned. Shit. My plants might not even make them to their fruition. It's kind of a crazy thought. Man, anxiety. It's a crazy monster. But let's smoke on it. Remember, Tuesdays. On the NOK Network. Waking up with the Wayniac. And as always, keep it green. Get out of here. What's going on, friends, and how are you doing out there in the land of the internet and the land of the living and the dark web? How is things treating you? How is things treating you? That doesn't sound like good English at all. Well, it is, because I is a non-college graduate and I is a stoner, but I is here to say to you, thank you for joining me this great day. Tuesdays are such an endeavor for most people. Tuesdays are Taco Tuesdays for some people. Tuesdays are the day of getting things done because Monday was rough. Tuesdays are the day of relaxation for some people. I know, probably not you, and maybe not you, and definitely not you. Most people want the relaxation, but the thing is, they're not really entirely sure where, how, and what they're going to do to get it. So, with that being said, a lot of folks get confused. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do something quick here. Forgive me, guys. This. Sorry, guys. A little bit of technical difficulties, but it will be way worth it. Give me a second. Yeah. Bang. Just like that. We adjusted and everything's good. Okay, back to what I was saying. I admit it's a Tuesdays or a day where I usually get things done. Tuesday becomes a day of information. Tuesday, just recently my wife and I went on vacation. The whole concept was just to go see another state, go witness how other people live. And we ended up falling in love with a big, glorious home there. And we came home and we talked and we decided that we're going to get a realtor to get involved. And we're going to try to make ourselves a bud and breakfast in Tombstone, Arizona. Tombstone, Arizona. What a concept. Now, I was there on vacation. Maybe you haven't been there. Maybe it's not your thing. Maybe where you're watching this from or wherever you're at, maybe, just maybe, you guys don't get cowboys, or maybe it's not the thing that you understand, and that's okay too, because we're not all going to. But as some of you might know, and others might know, I'm a history docent. I'm a historical docent that basically tries to walk and educate people through a little bit of time and storytelling, kind of like this. Take a look. Yeah, just like that. The history, right? Think about gunslinging. Think about what the cowboys did. Only in America, in Arizona, where they can celebrate a triple homicide and make a holiday out of it and make a day with amusement park. Not really amusement park, but more or less motion. As you can hear, there's a party going on in the background. Yeah, my place is a party. And it's always set up that way. And, maybe, just maybe, we can all decide to do something together and work together on something. And maybe that something is this.
Join us for NOK Network monthly specials, 12 months a year. Movie nights. Spotlight on entertainment. And live on location event coverage. Stay up to date about upcoming programming by subscribing to NOK Network on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Rumble. Check out our webpage at www.noknetwork.com.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm packing a bowl. Yeah, I'm packing a bowl for this morning's conversation. Whenever everybody comes over to my house, they come over to the dining room table, we sit down, we load up the bowl, and then we start talking. Well, we talk about all kinds of things. The topics vary from all the way to. And the thing is that we don't stop anybody in that. We enjoy each other's conversation, and we enjoy each other's ideas. Some of the ideas are wacky and definitely really strange. We break out the smoke freezer, and then oh, you don't know what the smoke freezer is. Well, here's 26 seconds. Well. So now you're probably looking at me like, what the hell is that thing? And then I got to look at you like it's this thing. You know what time it is. You act like you don't know what time it is because I need to get my elevation set and you need to set your elevation too. You know what time it is, right? Look at the clock. It's that time.
Bong time. It's bong time. Don't you just know bong time? It's bong time. It's bong time. Everyone loves bong time. Bong time. It's bong time. Don't you just know bong time? It's bong time. It's bong time. Everyone loves bong time.
Everybody doesn't love bong time, but they can at least kind of understand bong time. Hopefully you had a bong. Maybe you had 2 or 5. I don't really know. So let's chat. Let's chat. I had to go get a little coffee. Yeah. Do you like coffee? What's your coffee disease? Some people will tell me they'll say I like it black. Some people go, no, I like it blonde. I like it in between, it all depends. Some days I love a lot of sugar and ice. Other days I love it black. Today I'm just having just some creamer in the coffee and that's it. No sugar at all. So that varies. Now, we're going to share this out. We're going to get this out to some friends. We're going to see if we can get some friends involved, see if we can get some people that want to come over and check this out. I'm going to see what we can do real quick here. Excuse me. So, let us do this. Well, one thing's loading, and while it's loading, we can talk about it. So I ended up wanting to move. Wanting to move is a scary endeavor because I have a lot of stuff. I've acquired a lot of stuff over time. Moving an arsenal, swords, guns, armor, as well as music equipment, amps and basses and all kinds of stuff. It just becomes a measure of how the hell are you going to make it work? So what I've decided is one bite at a time, real nice and slow. I've decided that I'm just going to go hunting very slow about this. I'm going to start packing boxes, start putting boxes where boxes need to go and things need to go. And then at that point, I can really get, here we go. Excuse me, guys. Here we go. All right. So, where might you be watching this from? For me, hey, I watch it from a few different locations. I actually will go back. Don't really watch many of the shows, but what I'll do is I'll take the idea, look at what I did last week, talk about it this week, and what we can do better. At this point, what we can do better, there's a few things better. One, we're not going to quit. That was something that I talked about last Tuesday. I talked about this non-quitting thing. Talked about that non-quitting clause that can just be so simple for us to initiate. Whether it's a matter of you don't want to quit something or it's a matter of you're trying to figure out how to quit something. Don't be fooled. People start planning and they start setting in motion their plans and their intentions. Our intentions aren't necessarily to do bad things, and our intentions aren't necessarily to confuse people. But sometimes we end up doing the opposite of what we say. Or even with that, we end up doing double that. Okay, here we go. We're going to share this video real quick. Like, get my shares out. I tried to do some earlier, but I was having technical difficulty then, and just like I am now. So let's just see what we can do. All right. Boom. Just like that, kids. Sorry for one. We got a viewer. Hello, viewer. Hi. It's probably me watching here, but that's okay. That's perfectly okay. I'm going to send this out. It's going to take 30 seconds of your life out of here. So, while it's doing this, here, give you something to watch. Well, we did that. We got to share some stuff out. We got to send some stuff out. Hopefully, some people got to see some stuff. And hopefully, they'll get the hint and come over and hang out with us. Should we have a smoke or a drink? Which one's more important? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What are you guys arguing about? I know what we're going to do. We're going to have our coffee and finish it, right? Man, God, it's good. So, hey. Yeah, I don't know if I've showed you any of this stuff, so maybe we should discuss it, maybe give you a chance to see it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a good friend of mine, but here's a good friend of mine.
All the way here to Tombstone, and they seem they got my here sign. Politicians. What are more than a politician, more than overpaid jerks and tight suits? I couldn't fit into a suit, a little hot during the summertime, and especially my spurs look a little funny in them. What? Get out of here! Get out of here!
Well, I mean, what can you say? Sometimes you got to buy in.
Official 1800s bucking board, big wheel, 4x4 trailer. And you too can have the wildest ride. Check it out, Bluetooth, an official metal wheel, and you can pull along 2 horses, 3 horses, 4 horses. Here's an antique bucking board. This here would be your Ford trucking, how would you say, your four-wheel drive for all of us farm folks. Take a look.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, you came back. Obviously, I didn't drive you that crazy. So that says a lot. Some people will end up showing up for a little while and then they'll leave. What do you do? Do you give up and run away from it just because you don't have anybody watching? Do you change your show and think differently? No, because it's not really a show. It's just sitting at the dining room table having bong hits talking. This is what happens when friends come over to my place. We end up sitting at the table, we end up talking, whether it's about cowboys or aliens or spaceships, other countries, politics, everything that's in between the political realm. I'm not really a whole political person because what happens with that is people have opinions and then their opinions get hurt. All of it. Their opinions get hurt. Their feelings get hurt, and suddenly you're having a hard time. It was said to me a little while ago by a friend of mine. I do hope that come November, you and I can still have these same conversations with each other. I mean, hey, think about it. It's that time, guys. It is that time. Let's take care of the time that it is, right? Let's go for it. All right. Now that you know it, I'm setting this up right here for you.
Bong it time, it's bong it time. Don't you just know bong it time? It's bong it time, it's bong it time. Everyone loves bong it time.
Everybody does love bong it time, but what happens is they gotta at least try to love bong it time. You could love it too if you give it a try too. Try it with me. It's not called peer pressure. It's just your turn. No. That's not really what I think, but it is how I do business. When I think about it, I think about it in many different ways. We have options. Some of these options are, how do you say, yours. So when you make these options, and you have to make these options, they become solutions, right? Because you're thinking about, what if I do this? What if I do that? And if I do this, well, you're doing this at the same time, and that becomes forget it. I'm just rambling. But there's one that you guys got to take notice of. Take a look.
Psychedelic Tuesdays on NOK Network. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Psychedelic Reporters. Bufo Alvarius is scouring the newswires for stories being reported in the mainstream media on the psychedelic front and passing them on to Hobby's Puppets and Tara Simpson so they can bring them to you, our listeners, in this 60-minute video news podcast. Tuesday evening news. Join us for Tuesday evening news each week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all your news and information from the world of psychedelic medicine. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on our webpage, social media, and streaming sites, including YouTube and Rumble.
Peace, news, and views on NOK Network. Patients everywhere advocating cannabis evolution with Kim Cooper and Sir Steve O. Joint hosts interview people in the grassroots and corporate cannabis space across North America and beyond. Sit down with patients, entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors, and others share their journey with this medicinal plant. So join us for Peace, News, and Views. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where all consumption is medicinal consumption on NOKnetwork.com. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on social media and streaming sites including Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
Put it all away for 30 minutes a day on IWK. The IWK 710 Daily Sesh is a virtual gathering where consumers meet up for a toke and some laughs at 7 p.m. Eastern nightly. Originally aired on Wakiup social media pages, the IWK 710 Daily Sesh is now also podcasted on NOK Network. Rotating joint hosts bring you a variety of content during this 30-minute virtual smoke sesh. Take a break from the stresses in life and put it all away for 30 minutes a day on IWK. Podcasted nightly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NOK Network.
Hey, dudes and dudettes. Enjoy the show, man.
How about that? 4 minutes and 17 seconds of your life that, well, you can't get back, but you can definitely pay forward with. You can get advertising there. Join up with the NOK, have freedom of speech. That's something that I want to talk about for a moment. Freedom of speech. You know, at one time we had absolute freedom of speech. The problem is the repercussions of your freedom of speech are what people are afraid of. You can say whatever you want, but that doesn't necessarily stop the next person from talking your ideas down, punching you in the nose, taking you to court. The repercussions, the stuff that sucks. I think if we ran our lives more in the idea of prosperity and power, I know you're thinking, how do those two things go together? Well, power is something that we can definitely cultivate. And it's something that we can definitely use in our day-to-day. Prosperity. You're not going to have that unless you're putting that work to get the power, meaning getting your hands dirty. And it's very difficult because I personally fall victim to it all the time. We become afraid of things. So fear is a lot like a fire. The fire starts and people go, fire. Okay. The idea is we've learned how to use said fire, and we've also learned how to put said fire out. Fear. I look at this whole freedom of speech act right now that's going on. It's important. It's okay if you have pronouns that you want to go with, or it's okay if you want to speak out and say that you're an alien, or you've been abducted, or you know Sasquatch. I don't care. That's the freedom of speech that I'm talking about. The fact that it's okay to have these ideas. You know, many people have these ideas, but they don't talk about it in public for whatever reason. Or they don't talk about it in groups. And if they do, you got to be careful. The freedom of speech to do so. This is not just an American thing, by the way. This is a thing for all of us. Our words are so powerful that we had scribes at one time that would sit and write our words down. So as people pontificated to the megaverse, they had someone scribe it. They could go back and read what they said as they spewed out these words. They even said that Nero sat and watched the cities of all of it burn. And he just sat and watched. Now, we don't know if this is true because not many people were there. So these are the scribes telling these stories. So it goes back to like, why aren't people telling these stories? Are they afraid to tell stories because, well, it won't necessarily be a #1 hit? Or, most people wouldn't be interested in that story. Now we've turned them into mini-series. You can watch 6 episodes and it's done. Rent it now on your streaming device. It's taken away the magic of the bard, the storyteller. In ancient times, the storyteller would sit around the bard and he would tell story. Now, it doesn't matter what the story was, whether it was they were talking about the ice melting or they were talking about the migration of deer. They were talking about the thing that happened at the time, right? Okay. They had the freedom to do so. When did suddenly Karen show up? And when did suddenly, well, the PMRC probably did that in the 80s, began that. And actually, started stifling what people say. Now, I have a saying, and I know it's crude, but censorship is weak as fuck. I think if you start censoring people, you start telling a narrative that is just not fun. And it now becomes this thing of whose freedom of speech. That's kind of why I go and I play this cowboy. I know you're probably thinking, but that's an actor. No, not necessarily. A living doesn't. A living dissent is something that, we walk through our lives trying to show people just a snippet of the history that we've learned. I'm not about to tell people I'm a history major and I have my doctorate in history. Not at all. But it's just a history that I've fallen in love with. It's this history that I learned recently that really sparked something in me and I enjoy. Is it the whole idea of gunfighters in the street shooting each other? No, I'm not really saying that murder is a cool thing. But is it an idea of where we came from to get here? We didn't have Bluetooth screen TVs and speakers. We didn't have telephones. For God's sake, we didn't even have Bic lighters back then. So you were doing things in a more honest manner. That's what the history part of it really grabs me. This part of the history that I'm talking about happens to be United States of America 1890s, Western Americana. Then again, I'm also a part of a group of the Society for Creative Anachronisms. We're a group of people that go out and reenact different ages, and I happen to be a Pictish warhouse that is 700 AD. Or I go out and I play pirates with friends where we dress up like pirates. I know, all this you're thinking, you're an actor. No, it's not. Again, you kind of are. We're emulators, if anything. We're emulating something that people can get into. Now, the best part is when you read about it, you look about it, then you suddenly find out that you've been doing it right. That is such a cool feeling. Now, we can learn a lot. There are those people, though, like we call them button counters. Yuck. The button counters are the ones that look at you and go, oh, those are the wrong buttons, my good sir. Or they didn't have those shoes, my good sir. Or that's not the right amount of wool, my good sir. Now, all said and done, this is something that people are doing for their entertainment value. And, walking around with 9 yards of big, heavy wool in Southern California might not be conducive to exciting and fun. But irrelevant. The cowboy thing. So when we went to Tombstone, I walked around this little town. Now, I live in a small metropolis, and I got to walk around this little town, and this little town had something that, well, every town has, I suppose. Now, in the middle of the day, most people don't talk about what I'm going to talk about. This could be considered taboo, but do you believe in ghosts, spirits, things that bump throughout the day and the night, things that echo throughout eternity, that are in an eternal loop, walking through their house, doing kitchen work, driving down the street? Do you believe in this? Or is this something that is just preposterous? Now, by the way, I get it. Most people go, well, I don't know until it happens to me. With that being said, I think that's the importance here. When we're going through our life, most of us are vague in what we've seen or done because we let our mind go and we suddenly go, nah, that didn't happen. My mind's making it up. Now, when 3 and 4 people see the same thing, people go, well, you all are out of your mind. Okay. Now when you have lots of people seeing the same thing, the public takes notice. You get these ghost shows that show up to people's homes, businesses, and they take their fancy schmancy devices and they go in and they talk to the universe. And sometimes they get answers. Sometimes they don't. Their lights get turned on. Their batteries get erased. Okay, you get my point. You've probably seen these shows. I love those shows. I'm not even going to lie to you. I enjoy those shows because of the drama. I love watching people go through a plethora, yes, I use that word, a plethora of emotion while they're doing these investigations. When I was there in Tombstone, Arizona, we were running the camera and we caught something. Would you like to see it? Maybe give your opinion. Tell me what you think of this.
take your picture.
I'll play that one more time for everybody. One more time.
I'll take your picture.
What'd you think? What'd you think? Seriously. Did you see what I saw? Or am I imagining something that I saw? And so did my wife. She saw it too. So, did you see it? It's pretty cool, huh? Or maybe, just maybe, we're imagining it. I don't know. But hey, if you're not imagining it, you can just open your eyes to this thing called history, kind of put yourself in the footsteps of history. You imagine how things might have been. Like, we didn't have TV or ads and radio ads, but we did have.
Official 1800s bucking board, big wheel, 4x4 trailer. And you too can have the wildest ride. Check it out. Bluetooth, an official metal wheel. And you can pull along 2 horses, 3 horses, 4 horses. Here's an antique bucking board. This here would be your Ford truck in your, how would you say, your 4-wheel drive for all of us farm folks. Take a look.
Can you imagine that being your luxury of the day? Wow, you were lucky if you got a leather seat. There's no suspension to speak of. So when you went over bumps, oh my goodness, God, all I can think is how painful that would have been. You got horses, so you're dealing with horses all day too. The smell, wow, man, it's not the way now. You want to go down to the market, you just jump in your car, turn it on, and vroom, vroom, drive down the street. There, you got to set the horses up, make sure they're ready, get them warmed up, get the carriage together. It was a whole thing. So when we think of the settlers that came across the United States, that settlers that settled anywhere, mind-blowing, because these people had to do some stuff that was far beyond the norm, far beyond what we consider to be easy by today's standards. It's crazy, you had to make and carry fire with you. This wasn't a thing where you usually just grab your Zippo lighter and your torch and go over there. And think about even smoking back then, for instance. Yeah, you probably would have yourself a stag horn pipe, or maybe you were rolling tobacco paper because you were rolling cigarettes, or maybe you were rolling other things. I don't know. That's the part that gets me to start to go, history. Is this did this really happen? You think about these heroes that we talk about, these gunslingers, these people shooting. Well, most of them were outlaws and murderers. There were a few that were actual men of the law that were actually doing the right job. The right job was, whoever the magistrate of the area was, whether it was a governor or matter of fact, simple thing as a town mayor just needing to clean up certain areas. Tombstone, Arizona was one of those places. Tombstone was thriving in silver. So people were coming there left and right wanting to open their business because it was the promised land where you could go and open, a few acres of land and start prospecting. And it was huge. Man, the town, burned down 3 different times and they rebuilt it. That is determination. Most people would take it the first time and run, or maybe the second time. But it's shocking to me. Well, but about the whole that thing we were just talking about, this is my answer. Your demonstrations of different draws. Some are fancy, some are cross draw, just called crossing the border. Some are just to show off, plain and simple. And some of it is an actual straight application. The ones you're seeing right here, this is all for show. This isn't stuff that we normally do when we're doing anything kind of gunfight. They say that the Caviettos started doing this around campfires to show off the prowess of their gun spinning. That's where it came from. Oh, whoa, just a quick application, and it's back. Most applications can be the same way. They're spinning guns back then. Other people spinning hammers. I've been on job sites where I've seen big, strong framing men flinging their hammers around because they feel, oh, it's a pity of building a home. Which, hey, I completely love it. I think it's great. What do you think about freedom of speech? Did I ask you earlier about that?
Advertising space available at NOK. Contact us for a rate sheet at knocknetwork.com. Send us a message on our social media platforms or email us at info@noknetwork.com.
The theater of the mind. I brought this up, I don't know, maybe a week or so to people. And they look at me always the same. We're grown adults and you're talking about this like theater of the mind. Yes. When did you stop using your imagination? Some people tell me, I read books. I use my imagination every time I read a book. Okay. When's the last time that you used your imagination and thought about things other than yourself, outside of yourself? When you do that, this is what happens. If it didn't start now, then when would you ever start? Okay. With that being said, procrastination. I am a procrastinating fool. Sometimes it's because, oh, you hurt. Sometimes it's because you're just not in the place or the mood or the moment, I should say. Excuse me. How do you motivate? Oh, a few cups of coffee? That could be one way to motivate. That's immediate. 3 monsters and a fat Subway sandwich. That's another way to motivate. That's for motivation for me to lay down and go to sleep. Say no more. Thick ass glass. Tag. The only glass that you will ever need for your smoking meals. Okay. I was going to show you guys something. That's what I was going to do. I was going to demonstrate something, and then I thought, nah, it might be a little out of the weird. So what did you think about that clip? Did you see what I saw? Think about it. You got the freedom of speech to say if you saw something or not. Call me out. If you want to debunk it, you can go all the way to Tombstone and debunk it for me. That would be cool. Tell the Business Bureau that I sent you, because that would be really good for all of us. Okay. Maybe not. That was a little weird. I get it. But you get the point. Well, you already are joining us here. You know, I'd like to say thank you for the NOK for giving us an opportunity to come up here and babble with you. Eventually, there's going to be people up here talking, and this is going to become the thing that people are going to catch on to. They just probably don't know I'm here. Who are they? The populace. Well, in the old days in the rock and roll bands, we used to give out flyers. We'd tell people, I handed out 1,000 flyers. Oh, I was lucky if I got 7 people there. Today, I shared this all over. Most of you will probably see this in the repeat, so thank you very much. And if you do, just put down there in the bottom, #repeat, and then we'll start up a fund. We'll figure out who is the biggest repeat watcher, and we'll do a giveaway at some point. But that's only when there's people that are watching to be a part of that. For time, we say, in a few minutes, I'll get to that. That'll take a year to do. And on the 7th day, think about all these time references that we know of throughout our life. Now, I personally, time management, it's a thing that I need to work on. It's because my mind gets caught up on things, or maybe I start to decide how it should be, and then all of a sudden I make things more difficult. It doesn't have to be that way, but why do I do that? Is it because I'm afraid of somewhere in that time that it spooks me? No, it's because I use my imagination. Because I'm the bard. You notice it's all the freedom of speech that we all get to give each other. I don't think we ever are going to quit. I think people need to keep speaking, getting out, using their mind, using their voice, using the power, using what we were given. Because at some point, people are going to listen.
Are you frantically pounding away on your keyboard these days to discuss your views, share your passions, teach a skill, or share a craft to the masses on social media? Podcasting is a bright light that can help you reach a diverse audience. And NOK Network can help. Even if you have no experience, NOK Network will work with you to develop your content to air on our diverse network to reach a wide audience, allowing us all to grow together. Podcasts are aired on multiple platforms simultaneously, across social media and streaming sites, live through our network. Contact us and let's chat about how we can help you develop your podcast and join the NOK team.
It never gets old now, does it? Every time I see it, it never gets old. Effortlessly typing away. Man, if I type like that, I'd probably destroy. And I'm a hunting pecker. I'm like, No, I went to a typing class and I learned the basics, but man, I probably forgot more than I learned. I mean, over time. But then again, nowadays, everyone's typing, right? Or you're swiping. I don't know. Or emojiing. Think about that. That's a whole different one. Well, sometimes it makes no sense, and then other times I fully think that I get it. What do you think about that? Comments? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Ferris Bueller? Okay. Well, my point might have been made. With that being said, that weird? Smoking device that you have to plug in and use? I don't think so. Some people might think it's a bit much. Some people think, isn't it a little overkill? It could be considered overkill. Then again, 3 foot, 2 foot, 1 foot glass can be conceived as crazy to anybody. When I was younger, I never even thought of all this. It was a rich man's thing to have a glass piece. We had these little, chrome little things, or a prototype, and it has gone, and it's going to change the game now. Things are definitely different now. But you know that any head shop visit you go to, you realize you and Toto are no longer in Kansas anymore. Friends, thank you so very much for coming and joining me today. I think we've talked for a little bit, we've had a little bit of fun. The opportunity is there.
Bong it time, it's bong it time. Don't you just know bong it time? It's bong it time, it's bong it time. Everyone loves bong it time. Bong it time, it's bong it time. Don't you just know bong it time? It's bong it time, it's bong it time. Everyone loves bong it time.
Hopefully you read the messages that were up on that screen. I hope your day is glorious and the rest of it is glorious. Hopefully we all get to have a tomorrow together. I'm sure it's going to happen. I can almost see it in the rearview mirror. Today's tomorrow becomes today's next week. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for the ramble and the babble, and sitting at the table with me today. Eventually, some of you are going to come up here, and this conversation is going to be stupid. Until then, thank you for watching on the NOK, and thank you for hanging out with me today. Yeah, that rhymed. Keep it green. Be safe to yourself. Love one another. Peace. Get out of here.
The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.